They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I've never had to wait for someone else's eyes to confirm what I see in the mirror. Long lashes frame almond-shaped eyes that glow in the sunlight, full and soft lips that are a shade of crimson, and a figure that draws stares on the street. I know I'm beautiful, a magnet for attention, sometimes coveted, sometimes not. But today, standing in front of the mirror in the hallway of my house and smoothing the hem of my fitted cream dress, I didn't feel like the object of anyone's admiration. I felt tired. Tired of the endless churn of charm, the polite smiles, the exhausting weight of perfection. I just wanted to go upstairs, kick off my heels, and drown the day in a glass of wine. Then the elevator doors opened, and there he was, Daniel. My breath caught before I could stop him. He looked the same, but different at the same time. Same piercing blue eyes, sharp jawline covered in stubble. But his hair was shorter now, and there was a tiredness in his gaze that I hadn't noticed before. Or maybe I just hadn't noticed it then. "Hi," he said, his voice low and rumbling, making the air seem denser. "Hi," I said and stepped into the small space, every nerve in my body suddenly going on high alert. The doors closed and the hum of the elevator surrounded us. I could feel his presence, like a current charging the air between us. He leaned casually against the wall, but his eyes, they weren't casual at all. They were fixed on me, intense, as if he saw right through me, saw my desire. "It's been a while," he said, breaking the silence. "Yeah," I replied, my voice quieter than I wanted it to be. 3 years. 3 years, he repeated, as if tasting the words, rolling them over on his tongue. "You look." He hesitated, then smiled that half smile that made my knees go weak. "You look incredible." "Thank you," I said, pretending not to notice his gaze lingering. "You too." The elevator shook, the sudden stop making me gasp. I reached for the railing to steady myself, and then Daniel's hand instinctively lashed out and grabbed my arm. His touch was quick and sent shivers down my spine. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice closer now. I nodded, but my throat was dry. What happened? "Looks like we're stuck," he said, looking at a panel of buttons. He pressed one, then another, but nothing happened. "Great." "Great," I muttered, leaning my back against the wall, my heart pounding. Alone with him, trapped in a metal box. Could this day get any more surreal? "Looks like we have some catching up to do," he said, his voice teasing but soft. He stepped closer, and suddenly the elevator seemed much smaller to her. "Really?" I replied, trying to appear unaffected, but my pulse gave me away, pounding loudly in my ears. He chuckled, low and rude. "Come on, you can't say you've forgotten everything." I met his gaze and the air between us crackled. Forgotten? No, I hadn't forgotten a single thing. Not the way he made me laugh so hard my stomach hurt. Not the way his hands felt on my skin, warm and rough and knowing. And certainly not the way it all came crashing down, leaving me in a bad mood. "Some things are better left in the past," I said, though my voice shook. "Really?" He took another step, moving closer enough that I could feel his heat. "Because I've been thinking about you, a lot." "Daniel," I started, but he reached out and touched my cheek with his fingers. The touch was light, tentative, like he was afraid I might pull away. But I didn't pull away. I couldn't. "Tell me to stop," he murmured, his face a few inches from mine, "and I will stop." I had to. Every rational part of me was screaming for me to back away, to put distance between us. But I remained standing still, caught under his pull, and the weight of the unspoken pressed against my chest. His lips hovered over mine, and for a moment the world outside the elevator ceased to exist. No past, no future, just this, the unbearable tension, the breathing together, the heat building between us. But then the elevator shook again and the spell broke. The lights flickered, and with a groan, the mechanism started up again. We both stepped back as the elevator resumed its ascent, and the moment hung in the air. When the doors finally opened, I stepped out first, clicking my heels on the marble floor. I turned back to him, my heart still racing. "Take care of yourself, Daniel," I said in a steady voice, and a smile played on my lips. "Same to you," he replied, his eyes lingering on me as the doors closed between us. I walked towards my apartment, and the echoes of his touch still burned on my skin. I realized that some doors were better kept closed, but God, it was tempting to open them again.